Are you serious? Are you serious? Well, do you know what kind of coffee I'm drinking? You might if you're in a Russian soldier, because you're using some of these soldiers are being trained to become super soldiers with telepathic powers. Now, I did a Patreon video on this about 3 months ago, maybe 2 months ago, called Unlocking the Mind of the Beast. And it's over at my Patreon channel. And the reason I did it is because I had declassified documents that the United States had gotten, secret documents that had been declassified. They just recently declassified them from 1962, Russian documents. Now Russia has come out with this information. Russia's army is claiming that they have the existence of super soldiers with telepathic powers for future wars. If you want to divulge into the paranormal, here's a reason for you to enlist in the Russian army. The Minister of Defense magazine says some troops are being taught to crack safes, to evade ambushes, to burn computer chips using telepathic powers. What is the Russian army's best nurtured superpower? Don't be thinking about maybe some kind of nuclear sub or an EMP weapon, because according to reports, something a lot bigger than that is going on. It's called the defense's soldier for future wars. They call it meta-contact. In other words, a kind of telepathic power that can make a foot soldier into a superhero. What? Such a warrior, it insists, is able to use his brain power to burn chips in generators, to eavesdrop on conversations, to disrupt telecommunications, including television and or radio waves. More than that, believe it or not, the military have been experimenting with these malicious linguistic skills. A telepathic and reportedly managed to read a file locked in a safe that was written in a language he didn't even speak. Yet he could stare at the safe and see the file and read the file and speak what it says. And he did it without even knowing the language nor seeing the document. How in the world are they doing this? Other features of the superpower and the apparent military applications, the magazine reveals that this telepathic contact may help troops to evade ambushes, detect hideouts, treat those wounded in action. It also is indispensable while carrying out a non-verbal interrogation of an enemy soldier by reading their mind telepathically. The interrogator would know what kind of person he is, what kind of strengths or weaknesses the individual has, and whether he is good for recruiting. Ripping an enemy's mind wide open is 100% credible. You can't wiggle out of it if you can read with the telepathic powers. What's more, even high-ranking Russian politicians and business captains and top managers in the banking sector were also being taught these telepathic skills. Warned is armed. So keep it in mind when making small talk with a Russian official or dealing with the Russian banks. Now, I can tell you from that video I did a couple months ago called Unlocking the Mind of the Beast. If you go to my Patreon channel, you just scroll down, you'll find that video I did. It's a very popular video. It's very good. What happened was there was documents, secret documents that the United States had stolen from Russia on their telepathic program of 1962. They had kept it classified in ours. We'd kept it classified, just declassifying it not long ago, just a few months ago, and I was able to get my hands on a copy of it, of which I did a video on Patreon, and I read the documentation to you. Now, and I assume, I'm just going to say this, I'm under the assumption that the United States is doing something very similar to this. Although, when I went to find out what it was, there any secret documents on our telepathic programs in our army. Has any been released? Is there anything that's been declassified on it? We have never, I repeat, the United States has never released one page, one paragraph on our secret telepathic communication program. Not one. Okay, so we do know what the Russians are doing. I would assume we're doing something very similar. I can tell you that for sure what the Russians are doing, this telepathic power is also involved in occultism. There's no doubt about it. I mean, this is, clairvoyancy. They're messing with when you can see things without being able to, impossibly not be able to see with your own eyes, remote viewing. These are all used in occult practices and satanic practices of different types. So there's no doubt they are tapping into the psychosis and the psychic capabilities of the human brain, and I would say even into some of the dark side and some of those areas of occultism. So look, just keep your eyes open on what's going on. No pun intended there. What? But seriously, there is stuff going on, and we'll keep you up to speed. What's happening? We're in the end times, okay? We're in the end times. There's going to be lines, signs, and wonders. There's going to be all kinds of things going on as the minds are beginning to open. The souls of the humans are beginning to be pierced into the darkness, and they're using the dark side capabilities. I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. Give your life to Jesus Christ. We're living in the last days.